We are just 40 days away from Louisville Football's kickoff this year, and today I want to break down the wide receivers. Welcome back to part 3 of my video series where I'm breaking down every position group for the Louisville Football team in the 2026 season. And like I said, today we are going to cover the wide receiver room. Right up first, we got Tre Richardson. He'll wear number 0 this year. He is a true senior, which means he has another year of eligibility with 5 for 5. He's 5'10", 175 pounds. He was the leading receiver for 10-3 Vanderbilt last year. He had 46 receptions for 806 yards and 7 touchdowns in the SEC. He averaged 17.5 yards per reception, which is a big number. He's an outside receiver for the most part, at least he was at Vandy. And he's a true legit, like he's a deep threat. He's a guy that just throw it up there and he's going to outrun his defenders and score on the deep ball. He's capable of playing inside and playing the slot some, and I think he'll do that here, but he is more of he's more of an outside receiver as of now, or at least that's what he's shown in his 1 year at Vanderbilt. And he's a big game player. He's a guy who he shows up and has big games. So he had 6 receptions for 159 yards and 3 touchdowns against UK. Just dismantled them. He owned UK. He had 6 receptions for 127 yards and a touchdown versus Iowa in their bowl game, and then he had 3 receptions for 124 yards and a touchdown versus Auburn. And my projection for him this season is that he's going to be the wide receiver 1, that he'll operate outside and in. They'll move him around quite a bit, and that he will lead Louisville in targets and in receiving. Jeff Brom recently said that he would be upset if he doesn't hit like 80 receptions, which would be a lot for a receiver at Louisville in the Jeff Brom era. Not for a receiver for Jeff Brom at Purdue, but at Louisville, yes. But that's my projection, that he will be the wide receiver 1 and that he will lead the team in targets and receiving yards. All right, next we got LaWayne McCoy, who will wear number 7 this year. He previously played at Florida State. He's a junior, a true junior. He's 6'1", 180 pounds. As a freshman at Florida State, I don't know if he early enrolled or not, but supposedly he came on really strong either in the spring or in the summer. Maybe both of you enrolled early, and was turning heads and looking good, but he battled a lot of injuries as a freshman and never really got consistent playing time. But this season he entered kind of like the wide receiver 3 at Florida State, but he solidified himself down the stretch as their true wide receiver 2. He was a former top 150 recruit out of Miami, so keeping the Miami pipeline strong. And he finished the season strong, like I said. In his best game last year came against Florida, where he had a nasty one-handed snag, if you want to look it up. But he had 6 receptions for 110 yards and a touchdown in that game. And my projection for LaWayne is that he's going to be the wide receiver 2, but he's going to be the X wide receiver. He's going to be the guy on the outside for the most part, where Tre Richardson will be more of your slot, gadget, move around kind of guy. Now LaWayne, he's got all the potential to be the best wide receiver in the room. I do believe that. He's got to get over his injury issues, and he's got to be consistent. He's got to have a quarterback who can give him the ball. Florida State did not have that last year. But at minimum, I think he's going to be Louisville's wide receiver 2, but he has got the upside to be the best wide receiver in the room. All right, next we got Trayshawn Hurry. This is a guy who was here last season. He'll be a redshirt senior, or a fifth-year senior. This will be his last year. He'll wear number 2. And he's 6'2", 200 pounds. And like I said, he was here last year, but he began his career in the FCS at Weber State. He played 2 years there, then transferred up to San Jose State, where he played behind Nick Marsh, or I think that's his name. He played behind a guy who either came in second for the Blitnikoff, I think, or it's a really good wide receiver. And then last season, again, he was here. He was Louisville's wide receiver 3. Just didn't produce very much. A little disappointing for what people thought he could have been. He only had 15 receptions for 122 yards and 1 touchdown. I think that touchdown came in the bowl game. He briefly entered the portal before returning to be Louisville's wide receiver 3. And from some of the images that we've seen so far in the spring, it looks like he's got his body right. It looks like he's put on some good muscle. I know recently players and like Deion Branch has come out and said that he's improved, and hopefully that means that he's going to solidify himself as the wide receiver 3, be a consistent, reliable option, safety blanket, if you will, for Lincoln. And he's got all the tools to be a physical inside outside wide receiver, someone who can go up and get some 50-50 balls and help be a good blocker with his size. But he's just gotta show it. This is his last chance, and he's just gotta show it. But for now, projecting him to be the wide receiver 3 this year. I'm gonna go over the depth of the wide receiver room, which is not a lot. But the two guys that I think will be, the 4th and 5th options at wide receiver is Jackson Voth and Gavin Waddell. Voth is a 5'11", 190-pound junior transfer from Drake, and Waddell is a 6', 190-pound true freshman wide receiver. Voth was, I don't think he was even ranked out of the portal, but he had a good spring. He's got reliable hands. I think somebody, if you put him in there, he's gonna do his job to the best of his abilities. And then Waddell, he pops on tape. He popped on tape as a high school player. Kind of amazes me that he was the lowest rated wide receiver in the class. But he had a good spring as well. Had a good spring game. These are the two guys that I expect to be the wide receiver 4 and 5. And again, we talked about why the room is not very full of depth this year. And notably, you've got 2 big injuries to the room, and that's Chris Hughes. Entered the portal, came back. He's been on the team for a few years now. He tore his ACL in the spring, or he had a knee injury in the spring that'll keep him out all year. And then Montaven Quisenberry, a transfer from Kentucky, who was a highly rated kid out of the state of Kentucky. Very fast, more of an athlete, wide receiver, running back, gadget kind of guy. He also suffered a season-ending knee injury. A season-ending knee injury in the spring, so both of these guys will miss the year, and they both absolutely would have been in the 2 deep had they been healthy. All right, so my grade for the position room, it's a B. It's almost a B minus, but I'll give it a B just because of these 2 guys here. They're going to carry the room, but behind them, a lot of question marks, a lot of ifs, a lot of unprovens. You can't deny the talent of Tre Richardson, and I don't think you're going to be able to deny the talent of Wayne McCoy. But honestly, maybe a B minus is really where I would be here. But if these 2 guys show out, Trayshawn can step up into his role, and Voth and Waddell can be there when needed. I think a B would be a fair grade, maybe even a B plus at that point. But for now, we're going to go B minus, B. As always, if you enjoy the videos, like, subscribe. I'm here on YouTube. I'm here on TikTok. Appreciate any feedback, any comments, any likes, anything you can give me. And then, as always, these videos are made in partnership with the 1912 Society. Their link is in my bio. Check them out.